Thanks everyone, I'm coming up with a showcase video for Awakening Lahn about the hug aka grab changes which went live on the Black Desert Global Lab server on the 18th of July 2025. I will also talk about the mouse movement and then also gonna share my thoughts about the changes. So, on the Global Lab, they set the wind-up animation before our grab succeeds or fails to take 0.3 seconds. On success, super armor is granted, and what is interesting is that on fail, super armor is also granted. However, on fail, you can only do another skill after 0.4 seconds. Let's start with the grab changes showcase. On the left, you will be able to see the current grab speed on the live server, and on the right, the global lab speed. Let's start with a side dash into successful grab into bleeding hearts. And next up, let's see a side dash into failed grab into side dash. And last but not least, let's see an eradication aka Shift F into successful grab into bleeding without slow motion this time. So, what is the conclusion of all of these? Getting a successful grab will be slightly slower than before. And about protection, according to my testing, the super armor on successful grab applies 0.24 seconds later on the global lab. About failed grab, according to my testing, we are protected 0.06 seconds earlier on global lab. So the super armor on failed grab seemed to be nice for first hearing, but since we are getting a longer windup, if we compare this to the current state where the starting animation of the grab is much faster, and after the failed grab animation we can just instantly do a side dash for protection, then this essay on failed grab doesn't seem to be that nice anymore. Though the protection is still gonna apply earlier than now. So, will Awakening Lahn be fine with these grab changes? Well, I'm positive and hopeful about this, considering that getting a successful grab is only gonna take slightly more time, and for failing, getting protection is basically gonna be very similar as of now. However, knowing how many really fast classes exist in the game and how hard to land the grab already on some of them, and knowing how much the timing matters, I'm worried as well. I also play small and large scale, and there, knowing how much CC is going on, when there are more players around, it is also scary that we will be able to get CC'd easier. Nevertheless, we need to see what the next patch is going to bring, since we are supposed to get class-specific changes, and then let's find out what actually comes to the live servers. The grab change is clearly a nerf, so I hope they buff us somewhere else in the kit. Now, what I wanna also mention, guys, as a side note, that the reason why the grabs are getting changed is the removal of resistance, which is pretty weird for me personally, especially that we have classes in the game with 30% ignore passive, which hardly have any issues with resist, and then the rest of the classes can get grab ignore pretty easily from sources like crystals or reform stones to land the grab consistently. So sure, there were few grabs which got prevented because of resistance, but nerfing grabs because of this reason is just not enough for me, and it's just weird. If the reason would be that they wanna slow down grabs for a possibly better game experience, then that would be more acceptable. However, then I think they should nerf the movement of some classes as well, if they wanna slow down the game a bit. Last but not least, the other impactful change for the game is the removal of mouse movement, which affects the class. As of now, there are no changes about camera movement on Global Lab. Let's see if next patch gonna bring some. They at least should make our fly and core skills more camera movable. So, will Awakening Lahn be fine without mouse movement? For this question, my answer is more clear yes than for the grab change. Mouse movement is not necessary to play the class in a decent level, however, it did make the class to a higher and more decent level. We could do some really epic moves with mouse movement, which was of course beneficial during PvPing, and we will for sure feel the impact of the removal. And I'm personally gonna miss mouse movement a lot, cause it put an extra fun factor for the class. This is it for the video, guys. It was a short showcase and opinion sharing video about the main changes for Awakening Lahn. A lot of you cuties were asking me about these. So, TLDR, both the grab and mouse move changes are small nerfs, don't need to panic in my opinion. Now, how it will exactly affect the class, that we will need to experience whenever the change is gonna hit the live servers. And of course, let's see what other changes we are getting before that. Hugs, guys!